Cereal boxes line the breakfast aisle like soldiers at attention. Bright colors, cartoon characters, smiling children on every panel. Houston, Texas, Walmart. Tuesday morning, 2026. 1 box of Fruit Loops. Flipped over. Ingredient list examined. What sat on those 4 lines of fine print made me put the box back on the shelf and pull out a notebook. Red 40, yellow 5, blue 1. 3 petroleum-based synthetic dyes, listed back to back to back on a product marketed to children at breakfast. 3 chemicals derived from crude oil. 3 compounds engineered in an industrial laboratory. Each one certified, generally recognized as safe, the GRAS loophole, by a regulatory body that has been captured systematically and repeatedly by the very industry it was constructed to police. Years of food supply audits have crossed this desk. None of them produced anger quite like this one. Grocery shelves in Germany carry a version of Fruit Loops too. Same brand, same bright packaging, same Kellogg's logo stamped in the corner. But that box contains no red 40, no yellow 5, no blue 1. European regulators require warning labels on products that contain those dyes. Labels that say consumption may have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children. Kellogg's chose reformulation over the warning. Radish concentrate and blackcurrant concentrate now produce those vivid colors in the European version. The result is a neon appearance and the same shelf appeal. 0 petroleum derivatives are fed to children at breakfast. Petroleum barrels, crude oil drums, chemical extraction vats. That supply chain is where Red 40 begins its journey to your kitchen cabinet. Coal tar derivatives are synthesized, then refined through industrial processing systems. Raw petroleum feedstock enters a chemical manufacturing facility. Reaction cascades follow. The output is a water-soluble powder, vibrant red, now classified as a bioengineered food ingredient under 2026 updated federal labeling standards. What that powder does not receive is an independent toxicity review. Under the GRAS status loophole, manufacturers self-certify their own safety determination. FDA review is not required. Corporate word is accepted as scientific fact. Corporate profit motive is left unexamined. Ingredient labels on 9 out of 10 mainstream cereal brands, scanned across that Houston Walmart aisle, read like a chemistry course syllabus. Red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, blue 1, blue 2, green 3. Each dye carries a distinct molecular structure. Each derives from petroleum processing. Each compound has been flagged in peer-reviewed literature as a potential endocrine disruptor, a substance that mimics or actively blocks hormone signaling inside the human body. Endocrine systems govern growth, metabolism, reproductive function, and mood regulation. Calling these dyes inert is not a scientific position. Calling them biochemically active is precisely what the 2026 literature now confirms. Laboratory research published in 2026 detonated a conversation regulators had kept carefully quiet for decades. Scientists at a federally funded neurotoxicology institute documented, for the first time at real-world dosage levels, that synthetic food dyes, specifically Red 40 and Yellow 5, breached the blood-brain barrier in animal models. The blood-brain barrier is the membrane separating the bloodstream from brain tissue. Picture a locked security gate protecting the most complex organ in existence. Its purpose is to keep toxins out. In 2026, its status was compromised by a substance found in a breakfast cereal marketed to 6-year-olds. Brain scan imagery and cellular microscopy data captured the exact mechanism. Red 40 molecules, fluorescently tagged under laboratory conditions, crossed the barrier and accumulated inside prefrontal cortex tissue, the precise region governing impulse control, sustained attention, and behavioral regulation. The dosage levels used in the neurotoxicity studies were not extreme or theoretical. CDC dietary survey data anchored every figure to real-world consumption. 1 bowl of dye-containing cereal per day puts an average American child at threshold. Exposure within a single week. Behavioral disorders, attention deficits, neurodevelopmental disruption. Published, peer-reviewed, formally acknowledged by the FDA. Federal position is unchanged. Waiting room chairs in pediatricians' offices across the country hold parents who are watching their children diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder at rates 3 times higher than comparable European nations. Prescription pads sit on desks at the end of that chain. Audit work traced the full sequence. Manufacturer self-certifies safety under GRAS. FDA accepts the determination without review. Neurotoxicity evidence accumulates. Nothing moves. Regulators did not miss the science. Regulators were insulated from acting on it by a lobbying apparatus with a budget larger than most federal agency divisions. Lobbying expenditure records, filed with the Senate Office of Public Records and cross-referenced against FDA docket submissions, tell the story in dollar amounts. Between 2010 and 2024, the Certified Color Manufacturers Association spent over $42 million in documented federal lobbying directed specifically at food additive regulatory policy. General Mills allocated $104 million to federal lobbying across all categories during that same window. Kellogg's logged $68 million. Post-consumer brands added $22 million. Aggregate lobbying spend from the top 5 synthetic dye beneficiaries in the U.S. cereal market exceeded $260 million over 14 years, an average of $18.6 million per year, every year, directed at the agencies responsible for reviewing the safety of these same compounds. 2026 alone set a new record. Food and beverage industry lobbying disclosures filed with the Senate in January 2026 show a combined expenditure of $44.3 million in the first fiscal quarter, a 31% increase over the same period in 2025. The trigger for that surge was the California School Food Act moving through committee. Big Food did not increase its lobbying budget in response to new science. Budget increases tracked legislative threats to synthetic dye market access. Science was never the variable. Profit protection always was. That is not participation in the regulatory process. That is ownership of it. Regulatory capture is not a theory on this file. Regulatory capture is a line item. California State Capitol steps, March 2026. Lawmakers passed the School Food Act. Red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, blue 1, and 6 additional synthetic dyes were banned from school meal programs statewide, effective the 2026 fall semester. Governor Newsom signed on a Wednesday afternoon. Kellogg's stock dropped 2.3% by the market open on Thursday. Markets processed what federal regulators have refused to act on for 44 years. Texas school cafeteria lunch line. Same week, same country, same breakfast cereal. Petroleum-derived synthetic colors remain fully legal. Served daily. No warning labels. No reformulation requirement. No timeline for review. Transparency gap, not a gap in available information. Every state legislature has access to identical 2026 neurotoxicity data, but a gap produced by 31 states where food industry lobbying successfully blocked companion legislation to the California Act. Children in California are protected starting this fall. Children 200 miles east, across the state line, eating from the same box, are not. That geographic lottery has a known author. It has a dollar amount attached to it. Both are now on the public record. Kellogg's production floor runs 2 configurations on the same equipment. European run Radish concentrate and blackcurrant concentrate enter the mixing drum. Plant pigments produce the color. American Run, synthetic dye solution pre-mixed in a sealed stainless steel tank enters the same drum. Output looks identical. The cost differential between the two configurations appears in Kellogg's own supply chain disclosures, approximately 3 cents per box. 3 cents per serving is the precise margin at which this industry calculated that neurological protection for American children was not economically justifiable. FDA archive shelves, where synthetic dye safety dossiers have accumulated since 1976, hold a paper trail of deliberate institutional paralysis. 1982, the first internal memo flagged behavioral study findings. 1994, a scientific advisory panel recommended research investment. 2011, a public meeting was convened, emerging evidence was acknowledged, and no causal link sufficient for regulatory action was identified. 2026, the FDA position remained unchanged after 44 years. The GRAS status loophole remained intact. Red 40 is listed on every domestic Fruit Loops box, every General Mills Trix box, every Post cereal targeting children, without interruption and without independent review, for nearly 5 decades. Checkout lane conveyor belt, moving a cart full of brightly colored cereal boxes toward a register. Stop here. Every dye documented in this audit is technically visible. Red 40 is printed on the label. Yellow 5 is readable by any parent in the aisle. Blue 1 is listed in black ink and required by federal law. Every synthetic color in this investigation is disclosed. Disclosure is the mechanism the industry uses to satisfy legal obligation while counting on consumer illiteracy to do the rest. Color is what they let you see. Color is also the decoy. Warehouse loading dock behind a functional food processing facility, where pallets of unlabeled additive drums are unloaded before shift start. That is where the next audit opens. Emulsifiers, stabilizers, synthetic flavor masking compounds, preservatives operating under umbrella GRAS certifications, not reviewed since 1998. Invisible additives inside your cereal, your supplements, your clean label protein bars carry no color names. Numbers instead. Abbreviated chemical categories. Trade designations that decode to nothing standing in a store aisle. Supplement bottle on a drugstore shelf, clean label, science-backed, third-party tested, stamped across the front. That packaging is the next crime scene. Food companies and supplement brands are embedding compounds inside formulas the FDA has never opened, never audited, and never challenged. Colors are visible. Real contamination operates in the dark. Red 40 and the blood-brain barrier was Chapter 1. Click the next video. Because the secret ingredient scandal runs through every bottle on that shelf, and none of it shows up in any color you can see.